Welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast, where we aim to help fellow veterinary rehab therapists increase their knowledge and elevate their practice. I'm Megan Kelly.
And I'm Anae Lloyd. Together, we bring you the latest insights, research, and information in the field of veterinary rehabilitation.
This podcast is brought to you by Onlinepethealth, a leading continuing education membership for veterinary rehabilitation therapists. With Onlinepethealth, you'll have access to a wide range of online resources to help you stay up to date with the latest techniques, advances, and trends in the industry.
Our podcast features in-depth conversations with leading experts in veterinary rehabilitation. They share their own experiences and knowledge to help you improve your practice. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, our goal is to provide you with the tools and the insights you need to succeed.
So join us as we explore the exciting world of veterinary rehabilitation and help you take your practice to the next level. Hey veterinary rehabbers, today Anae is chatting to Nicola Kinnard Comedy. She is the founder of NKC Equestrian Training, a trusted business and mindset coach for equine and canine therapists. Now they're going to be diving into mindset and skill sets, and trust me, you're going to want to take notes. Nicola shares her 3 keys to success: building the skills and knowledge you need, truly believing you're incredible at helping animals, and telling the world about it. They then explore how mindset acts as the bridge between what you know and your ability to share it with confidence. They unpacked why resistance to change is completely normal but not helpful, and Nicola gives some practical strategies to create change without triggering resistance. Today, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Olivia from @ImpactVetPhysio. Olivia, thank you for the shout out on Instagram. Please reach out to me on meg@onlinepethealth.com. I'd love to gift you a limited edition veterinary rehabilitation podcast mug. Now, if you don't know yet, on the 8th of November, it is our Vet Rehab Summit. This is our annual online veterinary rehabilitation conference. We are super excited to bring you a full day of expert insights, inspiration, and connection. The theme this year is Dynamic by Design, and we're going to explore canine and equine anatomy and motion, diving into biomechanics, muscle activation patterns, and movement science that you can apply in practice right away. So free live tickets are available, but spots are limited. If you want access to the full lineup and all the session recordings afterwards, now's the time to register. You can check out the program and save your seat at vetrehabsummit.com. A quick word from our sponsor before we dive into today's topic. At Paw Prosper, we believe true pet well-being demands a 3-pronged approach: prevention, support, and rehabilitation. Our brands are trusted by veterinarians, universities, and rehab facilities alike. Whether you're looking to train, rehabilitate, or help your patients age gracefully, our brands, Walking Pets, Help 'em Up, Respond Animal Therapeutics, Fit Paws, Muffins, Halo, Sleepy Pod, and Canine Carts offer effective, innovative, and proven solutions. You can sign up today to receive a one-time special gift for all our Online Pet Health listeners with your next order, and you can sign up using this link, pawprosper.com/OPH. And of course, you'll be able to see Paw Prosper and all their brands on the 8th of November at the Vet Rehab Summit. Right, over to Nicola and Anae.
Hi guys and welcome. Hi Nicola, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure, Anae. Lovely to see you. Great to see everybody today.
Yeah, it's always good to be back, to be online, and it's always great to have Nicola with us. You've done a few interviews with us, a few podcasts. We've done some training with you, some business training. You've been at our summits in previous years, so it's always really great to work with you and to learn from you. And guys, if you're joining us today, we are chatting about why your mindset matters more than your skill set. And I think that's such an interesting topic, such an interesting conversation for us to have, because I've certainly felt that many times, that it's not my actual skill with my hands and my evaluations that are holding me back, but the way that I'm thinking or my perception. And I've often found that in myself. So I think it'll be really interesting to chat through that. I've always also had lots of times where I've felt like other people don't recognize that their mindset is actually holding them back, and it's not their skill set or the environment or the situation or scenario that they're in, but how they're perceiving that situation or scenario. So I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. So Nicola, will you please introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit more about you and your interest in today's topic.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Nate. And yeah, it's been amazing to be involved with Online Pet Health. We've done some cool things together over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's always a pleasure. So thank you very much for having me. So hello, guys. My name is Nicola Kinnard, Comedy, and I am the director of NKC Equestrian Training. So I'm a business coach. I'm a mindset coach. My mindset training focuses on NLP work. I do tapping. I'm a qualified clinical hypnotherapist. And I have a long-standing experience in the equestrian industry and working with vets. So I'm a qualified riding instructor. And I loved doing that for many, many years. And then I just felt the need to help more horses, which is why I developed my training and coaching company. And over the years, my work has changed from providing, educational content solely into the business and mindset coaching, where I help equine and canine therapists and do some mindset coaching with vets. So that certainly keeps me out of mischief. It really does. And it's just been the most amazing journey to help people, to help more horses, to help more dogs, and to change people's lives. I think of people who I worked with maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and they'll pop me a message. I've just bought a new house because my business is now here, or I finally got that horse I always dreamt of, or this thing on my vision board came true. And oh my gosh, I've got goosebumps even saying it. It is amazing. And you've come up with an amazing topic title for today, Nay, because I think for some people that will land. That may be a bit triggering, actually, because clinical skills are, of course, really, really important, but mindset really matters. And I would love to start us off with what I call the 3 keys to success as a rehab specialist, as a practitioner. Doesn't matter who you treat, but to me, you just need 3 things. You've obviously got to be able to do the day job. You need hands-on great skills. And thank goodness for Online Pet Health, because you can go and get more and more skills, more and more training. You also need to believe that you're amazing at helping and treating animals. And you need to feel that like in your bones. And then you just need to tell the world how you can help them, whether that is growing your own business or whether you are part of somebody else's business. You still need to be able to kind of shout from the rooftops about what you do. And to me, the mindset work is the bridge. Because if you've got great skills, you want to shout about it. You want to tell people how you can help them. But if you don't have those mindset skills, if you feel lacking in confidence, a bit like an imposter, just a bit icky or sticky, for want of a more technical term, you'll be the world's best kept secret. And I see so many therapists putting all of their focus, all of their energy on just more skills, more certifications. When I do this next training, then I will feel different. And whilst, yes, of course, keep getting your skills better and better, clinical skills really do matter. There is no certification, there's no extra piece of paper where you'll suddenly be like, wow, now I'm enough, now I'm confident, now I feel unstoppable. That doesn't happen from developing your clinical skills alone. It happens when you work on your mindset as well. So I just think if we can cover those 3 keys for growth in business as a practitioner, you're onto a winner.
I love that. Thank you, Nicola. I love that. As you were talking, I was thinking about, I always see people who are really confident in our industry, and I watch them just succeed and do fantastic things. And then I watch them work and I'm like, geez, I'm better than you. You missed that, or you didn't see that, or you're the way that you're using your hands, or I know that sounds super, like that sounds really conceited, but I've often had that feeling of like, what this person has that's succeeding is not their physical skill. It is not their knowledge basis or their practical application of that knowledge. It's this almost, it feels to me like this irrational belief that they're amazing, like you said. And because they believe it, everyone believes it. And then I think, whoa, if only I could believe that I was that amazing and somehow carry that across to everyone else. What could I achieve? What could happen with that? So I think that's really
let's do an experiment on you. Come back in 6 months, everybody. Let's see we are.
Where we are, right?
No, you're right. You are so right. The person it's a bit like the person who is the best runner, swimmer, horse rider, any sporting thing. They may be amazing. They may be able to get a really great time. They may have really great, excellent skills in any field, but without that belief, they won't put themselves forward. They'll never talk about it with the same conviction. They'll never get that momentum behind it. And again, they will end up as the world's best kept secret. And I meet people on a daily basis and they're like, I'm really good, but I don't want to tell anybody. And this is where the mindset work comes in.
Yeah. And I mean, we kind of feel like if I'm really good and I'm getting results, then people will talk about me, right? And they'll tell other people. But why doesn't that happen? Why does that not happen if we don't have that deep belief in ourselves? Because it often doesn't, right?
Yeah,
People
it often doesn't.
It does, but that lack of belief in ourselves does something, and then it doesn't snowball.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's such a great question to unpack, because the number of people that go to me, well, I don't need to do marketing. Everyone will just come through word of mouth. To me, word of mouth and referrals are great, but unless you have a strategy in place where you are actively driving those, that's just like the icing on top of the cake. And you need to build a marketing cake to put the icing on. If you're just solely relying on fingers crossed, people talk about me, and then all these clients come, that's not a marketing plan. That's not a business strategy. That's just a hope. And yes, you can make that part of your marketing strategy for sure, but you need to be seeking those referrals and seeking that word of mouth. And the funny thing, when you have lots of happy clients, so you're great at your job, you've got some clients, they love what you do. The funny thing is people don't tell other people, because we have this weird thing. It's a bit like if you found, I don't know, a new hay supplier or a great farrier or something, you don't want that person to become too busy, because they won't be able to look after what you need. So quite often we're like, yeah, I've got a great new trainer, but I'm keeping that to myself in case they're too busy to come give me lessons on my horse or help me with my dog. So I'm just gonna keep that one to myself. And that's what can happen unless you are actively asking, supporting, encouraging your clients to talk about, you make referrals, or you're seeking like veterinary referrals and so forth. So unless there's a strategy behind that and a plan, it doesn't happen. And when we've got that doubt in ourselves, you're right, it shines through on some level. It really does. And it's, we can't say, oh, well, if you're a bit doubtful, people never book a second appointment or whatever. It's not as simple as that, but it definitely comes across. And you'll see it in patterns of behavior. Like you've got 150 social media ideas, but actually you haven't posted for 3 weeks. People who they want to do, social's a great example. They want to write this post, they want to produce this ebook or whatever it is, but because it's got to be perfect, they've spent 4 weeks on the colours and never got anywhere with it because of those patterns, that it's not quite good enough, or I'm not quite good enough, or what will people think, and so forth. And it really does show up in so many behaviours. It's absolutely fascinating to unpick it all. It really is.
I love that you mentioned that you kind of get stuck in that space where everything has to be perfect. And I can definitely relate to that again, because when we published the Canine Muscle Anatomy book at the beginning of the year, it wasn't perfect and I'm not happy with it. And what I had to tell myself was, I am going to run a feedback survey, get feedback from the buyers, and then update it and give them a new edition. And by doing that, I could kind of let go of it and say, this is the best I could do right now. I want to give it to the world. And then I'm going to make it better with their feedback. Without that feedback, I can't make it better because I'm stuck in that perfection space. So that's what I did. And I think it worked. It worked really well. And it's created a very positive feedback from the people that have bought it, because they're like, oh, you're going to change it and improve it. That's very cool. Thank you for listening to me and what I don't like about this product. So I think that's very cool. And that kind of brings me to a question that I have on if we talk about that, you mentioned like the first key would be your actual skills and knowledge,
Yeah.
and the second one would be believing that you're amazing. How do we make those two things not conflict with each other? And what I mean is that it's really easy for us to become, no, it's not really easy. I think this is a stopping point for a lot of us in creating that confidence, is that we feel like if we're that confident, we're not going to keep improving our skills because we're already that great. So does that happen? How do we prevent that happening in ourselves? Because we never want to be in that place where we feel like I've conquered the world, I'm amazing, I'm the best I could possibly be, and now I'm not going to continue to grow myself because I'm super cool already. How do we not step into that space?
Yeah, oh, it's an amazing question. And I think this is a real fear for so many people, that confidence equals arrogance, and it actually halts career progression and clinical skill up leveling and take yourself to the next level. And this is what I think is really important. For the amazing people I work with, they are lifelong committed learners, and Online Pet Health Tribe, 150% exactly the same. I think when you are committed to excellence, you're never going to stop learning. You're always going to want to be better. And I have to say, I've met very few practitioners who aren't like that. I think that is just the nature of the beast. But you can be in a space where you're secure in your skill set, where you believe that you are brilliant, but you still have space to let it get better and better and better. Because that's just such a great question to always ask. You know, when you feel like you're flying along, like, how can this be even better? And I think we can have that confidence, we can have that security behind us. Because when you're in that, let's just take confidence as an emotion. When you lack confidence, or you're second guessing every action, that is so draining, and you're actually reducing your space for clinical excellence, because so much of your bandwidth is taken up with, oh my gosh, get me on the good, did they like it? Will they rebook me? What will they say to other people? Or if I post this, what will people think? That's an exhausting way to live. And actually addressing the mindset side, I think actually gives you space back to learn more clinical skills, because you aren't second guessing, you aren't overthinking everything. You know what you need to do. You have that, you know, your kind of your ceiling, if you like, of belief in yourself goes up, and you don't need to be thinking about it so much. So yeah, I think it's a huge block for so many people, that working on the confidence will stop them growing their clinical skills. But actually, you can be in a place where you create more space to learn and grow. And I think it's all about, a bit like you were saying with your muscle book, canine muscle book, it's all about being the best that you are right now. So you might have someone who might have just qualified, and think, oh gosh, I don't know as much as somebody who's been in this industry for 20 years. No, you don't. But that doesn't mean that you can't still start. You're just in a different place, in a different stage. And it's about being like, and knowing enough for now, and there's room to grow. That's how I see it.
I like that. I love that you said you have a commitment to excellence, and then my mind kind of filled that in with not perfection. So I want to always be better, but perfect doesn't matter as long as I'm better than I was yesterday. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So how do
perfect doesn't even exist, does it? You know, who's the perfect owner? Who's the perfect clinician? Nothing is perfect. And my goodness, even if you did make everything in a way you thought was perfect, a horse is literally going to come and stand on your toes. A dog is going to, I don't know, be sick in the middle of your new beautiful clinic room, or out the other end, who knows? But when you involve animals, you cannot have perfection at all. So I think we've just got to let that term go, right? Kick that down the road for sure.
I love that. And your perfect or your excellent isn't going to be someone else's. I think that's also really important to be okay with.
And it's matching your excellence and your skill set and your belief and your personality with the right clients, because not everyone is going to like you. Not everybody likes me. Not everybody likes online pet health. It's just, that's just the nature of it. And it's hard to take that. But again, the mindset work means that when you do hear no in business, you will hear no in your career, you'll hear no in business, and you have a choice as to how you hear that, how you reframe that, and how you move forward, or whether that just crushes you for an hour, a week, a month, a year. We all have a choice all the time. And I think that is, again, it's another tick in the box for mindset work.
Can you unpack that a little bit more for us, Nicola? Like, what are our choices when it comes to how we hear and perceive no or negative feedback or criticism?
Sure. Let's start with no, because we hear no. And I think, first of all, let's think of ourselves as consumers. So here in the UK, it's almost 12 o'clock, and I'm sure, and I've barely been on any kind of social media today, but I'm sure I could have already spent thousands of pounds just from emails that might have landed, things that might come up in social. I picked open a magazine for about 2 minutes earlier. We're bombarded with stuff to buy, and I've already effectively said no to lots of things today. So we say no as consumers all the time. We'd be emotionally bankrupt and financially bankrupt, I think, if we said yes to everything. We just couldn't do it, could we? So the fact that we know that we say no as buyers is, I think that is really, really helpful, because we say no all the time. And then when it comes to you hearing a no, we have a choice in how we hear it. And there's no, I don't really understand what that is from just saying no. There's no, maybe it's just someone's putting a business offer out there. There's no, I don't get it. No, maybe I haven't got the money, so I'm just going to say no. There's no, the timing isn't right for me. And then there is just no thanks, I just don't want to do that. And only one of those no's is to what I call a kind of definite no, because the other ones are kind of opportunities that somebody might come back in the future, chances to improve and change our messaging and marketing. Because if someone said no because they don't really understand it, that's on us, really, isn't it? As the business owner, as the person putting out marketing messages. And I think so many no's are actually no about that person, or no for now, not, oh my gosh, what you're doing is totally awful. I would never want to work with you in 1,000 years. People don't really think like that. And people don't really say that to you. But we can hear it as, you're rubbish, you're no good, I'd never want to be involved with you. So that's when I say we have a choice as how we take a no, that's how I see it. I think, my goodness, in 8 years of business, I think I've probably had about 5 hard no's on, oh my gosh, hundreds and hundreds of offers, thousands of emails, bazillion social media posts, where people have honestly said, no, I'd never want to do that course. No, I'd never want coaching. I mean, that's very few, isn't it? In that number of years and that number of offers, promotions, etc. You just don't get people saying, absolutely no, thanks, not in a million years will I ever want to do anything with you. But that's how so many people hear a no. So that's no. Reframe no. We do have a choice. Negative feedback, again, depends what it is. It might be some online keyboard warrior that's going, oh no, you shouldn't say it like this, it's like that. Again, we've got a choice in how we respond. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We can take steps to limit how we feel when we might view online potential negative feedback. You've got a choice whether you jump on your phone at first thing in the morning, that's the first thing you see when you're actually in a perfect state for brain training, or we can choose to view social media when we feel ready for it. And then we have a choice as to what we do with it next. So we can't control what other people do or say, but we do have a choice about how we react.
Okay, that's really good. Thank you. What came up for me as you were describing how you respond to no is that feeling of listening with curiosity and trying to just understand why someone might make the decision that they're making. Because like you say, it's so rarely our internal dialogue that they're expressing. It's basically never that. So get curious about the people that you're talking to and that are responding to you, and how and why they're thinking. And then from there, to me, that changes everything. If I read even comments and things that are critical or completely judgmental. If someone writes a comment on one of our posts and they're saying, this is wrong, you can't do this, you can't showcase that, my first thought is always, well, what do they mean and what are they looking at? And are they right? Did I miss something in creating this? And if I did miss something, how do I rectify that? And I don't assume that I did miss something. I assume that they have a different perspective. And how do I find that? So even in that space, it doesn't mean I'm gonna take it down or I'm gonna take their word as correct, but I am gonna evaluate it and look at it with curiosity and then try and do better next time. But there's no feeling of I was wrong or I was judged, but just how can we continue to be better and do better?
I love that. And because it's a learning opportunity, isn't it? It's a learning opportunity. And I just think all the time, every day, we have got so many chances to make a choice. Choice whether this turns into a positive like that. You've seen someone's made a comment, one of your posts, oh gosh, that could be a bit strong maybe. Choose to learn, choose to be crushed. We're not always aware that we're consciously making the choice, but we do have choice. I really, really believe that.
Okay, I love that. You mentioned something about brain training just now. So what mindset habits or daily practices do you recommend for us to build resilience, especially in emotionally and physically demanding professions like this one, where we get really invested in our clients and in our patients?
Oh my goodness, I could be here for a week, but I'm going to give everyone some really super practical advice because I'm a super practical person. We've mentioned phones a few times. To me, how you start your day sets the tone for everything. It really, really does. And I always encourage everybody to, when they wake up, I'm going to give you a few practices that everybody could do, but staying off your phone, to me, is the best way to set yourself up for the best possible day, because you can't control what you're going to see. And if you, and I used to wake up, straight on my phone, straight my emails, and I'm like, oh, so efficient, aren't I? But actually, when you first wake up, the first hour you wake up and the last hour before you fall asleep, you're in a different brainwave state. And I call mindset work, I liken it to brain training, because I think we can train any muscle in our body or an animal's body with the right exercises repeated over time. And that's what brain training is. That's what mindset work is. You do the right exercises for you. You repeat them consistently, you will build new neural pathways, you will strengthen new neural pathways, you will think differently, you'll behave differently, you'll show up differently, you'll take different actions, and then before you know it, your life will look totally different. So I just think from a practical sense, mindset work sounds very fluffy, doesn't it? It sounds like a lovely, nice woolly Instagram post, but I like to think of it more as brain training. So staying off your phone, really, really important. And then it's really down to individuals, which is why I like to create a bit of like a mindset menu for my clients so that we can kind of pick and choose what we feel like. I think gratitude has got to be up there with something that is really, really important to get yourself in a positive flow. And it's easy to think, well, if only I had X, Y, and Z, if only I'd got this qualification, I'd built my own rehab center, whatever it is. But actually, if we start with being grateful for what we have, the fact that everybody watching this has some sort of device, we have so much more than the vast majority of people in this world. I think that's a great starting point. So off the phone, gratitude for just something. It could just be, as I was head-butted by my cat this morning, tiny bit annoying. I didn't quite want to wake up then, but my gosh, he's so amazing, our cat. He's 18, he looks amazing. And what a way to wake up, a cat cuddle. So I had lots of gratitude for my cat wake-up call this morning. So gratitude. And then deciding who you need to be that day, I think is a very powerful way to start your day, because everybody watching will be juggling different things in their career, in their business, in their life. And we're all different versions on different days, different tasks even. So I think deciding who you need to be that day, because maybe you've got a full-on day of clinical work, and that's a slightly different version of you than the one that maybe is planning out your next quarter in business. Maybe that's going to be a different version of you that's spending time with friends or family or your own animals. So deciding who you need to be that day, and then stepping in to that best version of you. Does that make sense? So if you need to be, I don't know, you want to be in business mode and you're planning things out in business or creating content, how does that best version of you look? Because then you can make lots of little micro shifts and upgrades that will really help you on that path. So it might be some affirmations you could use because that version of you would think in a particular way. It might be your energy and how you get dressed, the clothes that you wear. It might be the food that you eat. It might just be that you, what did one of my clients put it as? She's like, I always have the Saturday coffee any day because I'm good enough for it. And those little shifts send out very, very powerful messages to your subconscious, telling yourself that you are becoming that version of you. Does that make sense? Deciding who you need to be that day and then taking little mini steps and shifts just in the day-to-day things, because we're all going to brush our teeth, we're going to wash our face, but you can wash your face feeling like, ugh, and you can wash your face feeling like the highest version of you, that successful version of you. It's just a different energy. Might be the same products, but it's just how we go about that. And that is what creates change in people. Changing your thoughts, changing your feelings, changing your behaviors. And as I said before, you know it, your life looks totally different. So to me, that's a really great way to start the day. Some gratitude and deciding who you need to be, and then some actions that support you to be that person.
Do you can I ask okay, so with the gratitude, are you just like thinking about the things that you're grateful for? Are you journaling it? Are you doing what works for you? Are you like, how do you express that?
Oh, that is a great question. It's whatever works for you. And again, it's that energy, it's that feeling, because we can be sitting there writing, I'm so grateful for this pen, this notebook. That's a waste of time. You've got to feel it. You've got to genuinely feel grateful. For some people, that gratitude might come by sitting and thinking. For some people, it might be writing. For some people, it might be like doing something. I know when my husband wakes up, don't even look at him until that coffee machine is on. Like, it's just, you won't even get a grunt. And then he's halfway through his coffee and he's really quite chatty. So for him, that gratitude is as the coffee is getting poured out the machine. That's when he could start his gratitude. So for some people, it might be a physical action. Maybe they need to go and let the dogs out. So the bear got their eyes open, the dogs want to go out. And as they open the door, that's when they can kind of celebrate the day and feel grateful for everything that they have. So horses for courses, really. It's really what works. It's more that it's not a tick box exercise and you actually do feel it, rather than, as I said, we can all so grateful. Like, we really do need to be in that true state.
Okay. And then you kind of, as you were talking about the choose who you need today to be today, you listed a couple of things that are going to guide who you're going to be today, is going to guide your decisions. Does that, do you kind of, so decision fatigue is quite a thing, and it's something that, like, I feel I can't make many decisions all the time. It just is very overwhelming. But if, for example, what came up for me as you were saying that is that if today I am going to be a clinician, I'm treating patients all day, I have 8 to 12, I don't know, I have many patients booked, my whole day is full, and I am going to be the best version of myself, is energized and present. I'm going to be with each patient. I'm going to be able to communicate clearly with my clients. I'm going to do that partly by dressing the part, so I know what I'm going to put on, and I'm going to eat with intention so that I will have enough fuel and energy for the day. That means I'm going to have this breakfast, and I'm going to pack this lunch, and I'm going to have this snack at this time. And so, like, right at the beginning of the day, I can create or not even at the beginning of the day, you can do this before, right? And you can say, this best version of myself needs these things. And so when it's clinic day, these are the things that need to happen. This is what I need to wear. This is what I need to eat. This is what it looks like. And so those decisions are made already.
And they become new habits.
you can just action them
Yeah.
and not think,
Yeah,
not
totally.
think about them. Although
Yeah.
a big part of it to me feels like you're being very intentional as well, stepping into that space and into that role, which is also
here's the kind of the hack, the shortcut. I love shortcuts. I really do. To me, it's how can we automate reminders? How can we have easy reminders that help us step in to that best version? So what you just listed out would be great habits to form, because for most people watching, being the best clinician version of themselves is something that they're not just going to do it once a year. Like, that's repeated behavior. So you'd soon get into, okay, clinic day, this is the kind of food I have. You could prep that the day before. You could, that's easy. You know what you're going to wear. That's quite straightforward. But if we have to take out that sort of mental bandwidth, you can have amazing things popping up throughout your day, affirmations, reminders, mantras, whatever you want to call them, that are just reminding you. And you can tie new beliefs to an action. So let's just say you wanted to be a really confident and step into that intentional, powerful clinician version of you. But if that was a belief that you wanted, I'm a confident clinician, that was a belief you wanted to rewire into your mind, tying it with a physical action gets you there much quicker. So let's just say you're a mobile therapist and you're in the car lots. So you could tie that thought to every time you get out of the car, or every time you get back into the car, or both even. So that as you sat down in the car, you just said to yourself, I'm a confident clinician, I'm becoming more and more confident, whatever the exact belief was you wanted. And then that is a great way. Yes, there's a bit of an, conscious remembering to start with, but that soon becomes another ingrained habit that you're just resetting and reminding yourself again and again. And there's lots of other things you can do, like, I don't know, let's just say you've got a paper diary or paper notebook, because lots of people do still love a bit of paper. As you open that, there could just be a little reminder, I'm a confident clinician, could be in that page. You could have something that pops up as your screensaver on your phone or your laptop, reminding you of how you want to feel. So yes, you're going to need a little bit of conscious awareness and intentional action for sure, but building habits and adding in easy automations like your goal or your new belief that you want to believe, and really wire into your head is stuck up somewhere. It's in your diary. It comes up on your computer screen. It could be stuck up in your car. There's no end to places you can have these reminders, and that's what just keeps resetting you back and back and back. And that's, to me, is the easiest way to train your brain. So we start the day like that. And then we have these auto resets so that we aren't just going, okay, boom, straight back into the old behavior. Because then, again, it'll be a bit like, I went to the gym for an hour, but then I've actually had 3 McDonald's for the rest of the day. Like, I forgot the gym bit. It's not going to give you the progress that you want. So that is, to me, the easiest way for a busy, mentally fatigued practitioner to create mindset change, to do brain training. Start the day strong, easy automated reminders, be that with tech, be that with paper. I like an affirmation stuck in the shower. Like, you open a drawer in my kitchen and it will be like, it's safe for me to do whatever, or I can now do this. And it just knocks you by surprise in the best possible way.
Okay, I love that. Okay, I want to talk more about affirmations because I struggle with them, because it feels like it's not the truth, or it feels like there's a I think is the word cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
So it feels like I am telling myself something that I don't believe, and so I'm furthering a lie or something that's not true. And so there's this resistance in me to having affirmations that are not already aligned with what I do believe, right? So I'm trying to change the way that I view things, or my belief system through affirmations feels dishonest. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is a great topic. This is a really juicy question. And I'm really glad you've raised it, actually, because affirmations I see as like the entry point, if you like, into brain training. They're a great starting point. But a lot of people get to this point where they're just like, this is a load of rubbish. It's not really working. So a couple of things I'd love to say on that. One, if you feel, I don't know, like the idea of talking to a new person just makes you want to hide in the corner and just be sick somewhere, telling yourself, I'm confident, it's just not going to work. So you might need an interim affirmation, which is like, I'm slowly becoming more confident. I'm allowing myself to become more confident. So I think we can pick affirmations that meet you where you actually are. So I think that's the first thing to say, is it might just be that you're here, you want to be here, and the affirmation is kind of here, and your brain's like, that's just a lie. And of course, we're not going to stick with that. So baby steps affirmations, I think, are really important. And meeting you there, so I'm becoming more confident. I'm allowing myself to be more confident. I'm taking steps to feel more confident. That type of affirmation, using the confidence example, would be really helpful if you're starting here and you're trying to convince yourself that you're over there when you're just not. So affirmations that meet where you are is really important. The second thing to say is we have our belief system is hardwired into us, and it does lots of useful things for us. Like it allows, our subconscious is incredible, just like this computers that we're using today, like they run us on autopilot. But if we have deep held belief systems that keep us where we are, and your affirmation just doesn't line up with them, the affirmation is not going to override it. It's a bit like if I tried to, I'm trying to think of a computer example. If my computer is programmed a particular way and I try and ask it to do something, it's just not going to work. That program just wouldn't be downloaded. So it might be that you could have an affirmation that's a bit too far ahead for where you are, or it might be that the belief system is stronger, because it could be a belief that you've held your entire life, and that's not going to let that affirmation in. So sometimes we need to do much deeper work on belief systems. And a great starting point is to identify what belief is potentially holding you back, keeping you stuck, limiting you. What old memory, what old story is there that we might need to let go of? And sometimes they're things that have been passed down through generations. Sometimes it's something that we saw on the news or the TV, and it's really kind of nothing to do with us, but somehow we took on this belief, and then that just means that, so like money is a great example. So I can remember, what did my dad say when I said something like, oh, it's all right for them, they're living on the never, like they don't really have that money, and it was like, you shouldn't have like a flashy car. And then if I was trying to say to myself, I'm a millionaire. But if I've got a belief system in there that somehow having more money means you're not a good person, or it changes you as a person, or it doesn't line up with my parents' belief system, me telling myself that I'm rich, I'm a millionaire, I'm becoming a millionaire, it's not going to work. So, and going deeper into your belief system is really, really powerful. And there's so many great tools out there, but starting to look at existing beliefs is helpful. EFT tapping, where you're working with effective like acupressure points, is a really good way to just like shift old energy, because you'll never be able to let an affirmation in and start a new rewiring if there's an old belief that's holding you back.
Okay. Yes, I like that. I like the idea of having interim steps, interim affirmations. So you have a goal that is, I want to be a confident clinician, as our current example, and then you can take steps to get yourself there. And you're not just going to be using affirmations, right? But that's one of the ways you're going to help yourself. So if I think about myself, I could say that I can appear to be confident even when I'm not feeling it. I can do hard things. My body language matters, and that will help me feel more confident. I could say things like that. And then at the same time, I could say, well, what does confident look like, and how do I get closer to that? So I'm going to be intentional about using a certain pitch in my voice, making eye contact, having a specific posture, listening with intention, and then those things are actions I can focus on, right?
Yeah, and a great way to kind of fast track what you've just said is by modeling, because that's really what you're describing. So if you want to become a more confident clinician, and you're using some affirmations, and you're starting to think, okay, what would that version of me wear, eat, look like, hold their energy, how they talk, etc. You're taking little actions towards that. And another quick fire way to get yourself like that is to model somebody else's behavior. So who is that? Whether it's somebody you actually know, or you know them online and have never met them, never spoken, it doesn't matter. You can start thinking, okay, well, I'm over here. That thing that I want is miles away over there. That confidence or that business goal is over there. But this person either has it or looks very far along the way. How could I be a bit like them? How could I borrow some of their confidence? And you can think, okay, well, I might want to think like this, but what would that person think in that incident, in that situation? And modeling is a really helpful way to shift your energy and shift out of some of those thinking. And again, it's quite a good like mid-step when you know you want to be here, but you're starting here. This feels like such a big gap, because you can borrow from somebody else. You can borrow the confidence. You can think, okay, well, that person, actually, they wouldn't mind if somebody had said this, or if somebody, I don't know, someone cancelled, that's not going to upset them. They'd just be like, oh, great, and now I've got some extra time I didn't expect, etc., etc. So you can, whether you know this person or not, you can start modeling somebody else's behavior, beliefs, whilst you change your own behavior and beliefs. And I think it's a great way to intentionally model somebody else, because again, it reduces that decision fatigue from thinking, oh gosh, what would I do? And that can feel overwhelming. Modeling is a really good kind of time saver.
Oh, that's really interesting, Nicola. And it again brings up that thing for me of, how do I do that without feeling dishonest or like I'm not being my authentic self? How do I bring those things together?
I think, to me, connecting with why you every single day is so important. Like when I wake up in the morning, okay, my cat's head butted me, I'm awake. I am so excited to help people change their lives, whether that's the lives of horses, whether that's through some educational content, whether that's coaching somebody, whether it's just an Instagram post that makes somebody think differently and then that changes their day. That's why I do what I do, and I'm very, very connected to that. And if I want to change a behavior, if I'm here and the change feels over there and it can feel a bit like, oh, is that really me? Connecting it with the why and how that next version or the person you're modeling is in alignment with the why, with your reason for doing the work that you do, I think that really helps bypass that sort of resistance, because your brain does not like change. Neither does mine, neither does anybody else's. So I think there can be some internal kickback, pushback, when you're just like, well, we're trying to change, but it doesn't really feel very authentic. I feel like I'm just faking it till I make it. But actually, if you connect in with, that's just resistance. Why is that resistance coming up to change? And how does this change, or modeling, or even if you do feel like you're faking it for a little bit, how does it actually support that bigger mission, my bigger reason? It's really, really helpful.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so I think you've given such good advice here, Nicola, and we've gone into such interesting things. Where can people learn more from you? How can they reach you? How can they dive into this with you in more depth?
Sure. Oh, and thanks so much for having me, Nate. It's been absolutely amazing to dive into these topics. It really has. So the best place to find me is Instagram, which is NKC Business Coaching, and you will find daily tips on training your brain and building your business as an equine or canine practitioner. So that's the best place to find me for sure.
Okay, fantastic. Instagram. We follow you, and you do have fantastic stuff. So thank you so much. What if our listeners would like a little bit more from you? What can they do?
So head to the freebies section of my website, which is nkcequestrian.com/freebies. you can book a free mindset or strategy call. You can get some really useful business tools, and we've got a great webinar, a free webinar coming out. It'll be loaded up shortly on mindset and business.
Okay, fantastic. I am sharing that link with you guys. So that would be nkcequestrian.com freebies. Thank you so much. And then Nicola, you have a conference coming up, which is really exciting. Tell us about that.
Yes, we do. So the Healthy Horse Conference is back for its 4th year, and this is where we bring the latest research when it comes to looking after horses and put them in the hands of owners and professionals so that we can all make a better world for horses. Our theme this year, it's actually really relevant, what we're talking about, is empowerment. So how can we use the latest research to feel more empowered to help more horses? And we do have a mindset session all about imposter syndrome, because to me, it's no good having all this amazing new clinical knowledge if we don't feel able to put it in place. And that's the biggest thing that I have coming up time and time again from rehab specialists, from practitioners, is I don't feel good enough. So if you want some additional CPD, continuing ed, and some mindset training, then the Healthy Horse Conference is the place to be. And we have a special code for Online Pet Health members as well.
Yay! So thank you so much, Nicola. You have offered all of our listeners 25% off on the Healthy Horse Conference. I have shared that link with you guys, and your code is going to be OPH25. So use that at checkout. Go to the Healthy Horse Conference. It's going to be really, really great. Nicola, thank you so much for your time today. It's been
my
really
pleasure.
having you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. A big thanks to our sponsor, Paw Prosper. Their sponsorship allows us to be able to give this podcast to you for free, so please go and check them out at pawprosper.com. Don't forget to bookmark the next Vet Rehab Summit on Saturday, the 8th of November, 2025. Come and be a part of the world's largest online veterinary rehabilitation conference created specifically for you, the vet rehabber community. Online Pet Health members get VIP complimentary access to the Vet Rehab Summit. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to onlinepethealth.com.